Hello, world. This is your girl, Marky Lemons-Ryhal, real estate keynote speaker and Facebook Live host. And I only had a couple of things on my list that I needed to do in 2019. And one was get my butt a bot. I know I needed one. And I am so elated to be able to interview Zach Hammer because he is my bot man. Actually, I just joked with him. I said, we're going to hammer out these bots. So I put a spin on his last name. Zach, tell people who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so like you mentioned, my name's Zach Hammer. I'm the founder of Real Estate Growth Hackers. And what we do is we help real estate agents implement cutting edge and current marketing tactics and strategies to generate and convert leads. So everything that gets somebody to ultimately sign up to be your client, that's what we work on. We do that largely with courses and training. We have a few services here or there, but really we're focused just on teaching and getting people out the right information, whether it's for them or for somebody that works with them. That's what we do.
Okay. Now I have a million questions for you because I've never met an expert in what you're an expert at. And so if I just keep throwing these questions at you, do not get mad. However, when I start thinking about practicing real estate, I know that we're spending $12 billion on lead generation. And as I tell my fellow realtors, I need them to learn how to fish. So everything that you're talking about is lead generation, something that realtor can do themselves, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then when I'm thinking about scripts, right? I tell them, and I could be wrong, so you can check me whenever I'm wrong. I tell them we're not doing scripts the way we used to do the script, which was a cold calling script. We want to take that conversation and basically put it into a bot. So could you explain, first of all, because I can tell you people don't even know what that is. Tell us what is a bot?
So bots are programming that is used within something like Facebook Messenger, or even oftentimes this can be done on your own website with chat software. But it's programming that uses chat software in order to engage in a conversation with somebody. So that's going to be, the bot will actually be programmed to respond to people's questions, whether it's through a keyword or through just a really natural conversation. But it's also going to be what the bot does with the information that the person responds with. Does it trigger another part of the conversation? Does it collect that information and do something with it? As for instance, lead information like their email, name, phone number, that kind of stuff. Does it log that in the system for you? It's that whole programming that essentially uses conversations as a way to engage with people automatically.
And so you said Facebook, would that be inside of Facebook Messenger, or is it off the Facebook business page? How many places in Facebook can I use a bot?
So in Facebook, your bots are going to be restricted to connecting them to a Facebook page, but it's that Facebook page engaging in Messenger. So it's that same platform, but it always has to come from a Facebook page.
So it would never be me as the individual interacting, always as that Facebook business page.
Correct.
I got you.
So, yeah.
Can you use it inside of WhatsApp?
I am not completely familiar. If you can right now, at least with what I'm doing and what I'm working with, but yes, in terms of is that something that's available? Is that something that people are doing? Absolutely. WhatsApp, WeChat, all of these chat applications are moving this way, where there's bots and applications that are kind of coming into them.
So then I have another question. I have a Instagram business account because of how it's attached to Facebook and it's attached to my Facebook page. Can bots also be utilized then or streamed to Instagram?
I'm not positive right now if they can connect into the direct messages on Instagram. I've really been mostly focused on Facebook as a platform. So I'm not positive, but if not currently, then definitely at some point I could just about guarantee. Facebook owns Instagram, so that technology ending up in there is bound to happen.
Okay.
But yeah.
So what was interesting, because I wasn't sure about this, you said, one, we're going to have this automated conversation, but then I'm
Right.
able to collect the information and put it somewhere. Is that
Right.
going into a CSV formatted file that I can then load this information to my customer relationship management system?
Yeah, so really it's going to collect the data, right? So you can, yes, you can end up with a CSV. You can tie it together. Some of these platforms will actually integrate directly, so you could tie it together, maybe using something like Zapier to literally patch directly from Messenger into your CRM without even needing to, download and upload a CSV. But yeah, so you can connect them up and really get them integrated so that Messenger essentially works really well for you as a landing page, which is actually one of my biggest recommendations. I think right now there's a lot going on in the real estate world with messenger bots. I think most people are doing it wrong. The reality is, like you think about how many times when you call up like tech support, or you call up support for a company, and you get that phone tree that says press 1 for something, press 2 for whatever, right? How many
Yes.
people actually love that compared to calling somebody up and getting a person on the other end, right? Which do people prefer, right?
Yes.
And most people with chatbots is they're actually building out a phone tree on these chatbots, and nobody really wants that. And so the key to doing these chatbots well is to actually simplify the process, to not try and have them do everything, but to be very intentional and targeted with what you're trying to do, so that it does flow naturally, so that it flows well, and that it actually feels good for the end user. Otherwise, you're going to get the same problem that you do with a phone tree. People are going to hang up. They're going to stop engaging, right?
Yes, you are right. And I'm thinking I have 2 calls I need to make today that I'm dreading, because I'm going to have to go through that automation phone tree. Most definitely. Oh, so
Absolutely.
you mentioned a landing page.
Right. Right.
So explain how the chatbot interacts inside of the landing page. How does that?
So it's actually not, that's not exactly right. So while you can, sure, you can have a landing page and then have like a button for people to be able to chat with you and ask questions, and that's great. That's actually really useful as well. But no, what I'm talking about is actually literally taking the concept of what you're doing with the landing page, right? Like
Okay.
let's give a for instance. Let's say the landing page is about somebody requesting a home valuation. Okay.
Yes.
And so they're going to input their address. They're going to input, maybe how many beds, baths, square footage, some of the property details. Maybe they're going to say how soon they're looking to sell, or if they're even looking to sell. And then they're ultimately going to give their name, email, and phone number. And that all happens on a landing page, right? Well, with chatbots, what you can do is you can actually remove the landing page. So you can run a Facebook ad to a chatbot, where that chatbot then collects their address, the beds, the baths, the square footage, how soon they're looking to sell, their name, email, and phone number. And you can completely eliminate the landing page. And what we're finding, landing pages in general, we get about 20%. Messenger bots as landing pages, we're getting about 70%. So for every 10 people who come through, 7 of them become leads. For traditional landing pages, for every 10 people, only 2 become leads. So
Huh? Wait. That is a phenomenal return. Like, okay,
Absolutely.
so now I want that. Whatever that is you just said, that's what I want. I want that right there.
Right.
So we're able, through treating a chatbot like a landing page, but essentially eliminating the landing page, we
Right.
can do a lead to the chatbot, and you're seeing up to 74% or 70% of the people providing their information.
Right. Yeah. So in some of our best, actually, in our best, it's even better. But in some of our top end campaigns, yes, we're seeing, all things being equal, literally the same exact campaign where, as a for instance, with one of our clients, we have a webinar registration running, and we've tried doing it to a landing page, and we've tried doing it to chatbots, and literally, 10 to 20% convert on the landing page in order to become leads and watch the webinar. 70 to 80% convert to become leads through the chatbots. It's the same offer, it's the same process. We're collecting the same information, but by doing it through a chatbot, people are engaging more readily and just becoming leads more readily.
So a Facebook ad to a chatbot style like landing page. Okay.
Right.
So when you say campaigns, what type of campaigns have you seen real estate professionals run that have been successful?
So literally everything that we've tried, if it's working on Facebook going to a landing page, we've been able to replicate it in a chatbot and had success. So just listed campaigns, just sold campaigns, home value campaigns, seller guides, buyer guides, nosy neighbor campaigns. We've done stuff that we consider more hyper local. So things that are like, giving people the opportunity to get a list of nearby holiday lights, around Christmas, that holiday lights displays, that worked really well. Giving people the opportunity to, engage in like a contest where they can get access to like a night for two for a local business. That works great. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. One of my favorites actually is we run a coming soon, guess the price campaign that works really well. So coming soon listing, where you're not posting the price and you get people to engage in the comments and guess what they think that's going to come onto the market for. And then they win something like maybe like a $50 to $100 Home Depot gift card. One person does.
Wow.
And anyway, doing that, yeah, we've had tons of success. I spent, with one of my clients, we did $100 in ad spend and generated 76 leads in 1 week. And of those 76 leads, what was it? I think 20 actually kind of engaged past the coming soon contest aspect, and very specifically like raised their hand as buyers. And then of those 20, 10 even further qualified themselves, saying what properties, what types of properties they were looking for, what number of beds, number of baths, areas, and all of that from that one campaign. So yeah, they're working really well.
So $100 ad spend, do you,
Right.
Is there a standard price that you charge, or is it per campaign? How does that work?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So in general, I don't tend to take on clients, right?
Okay.
I have like 5 clients that I work with where I test all of these campaigns, and I'm out with my courses and my training. I have a handful of people where I'm testing these campaigns, but then I turn it into training. So in this case, that was $100 to Facebook. That was if you ran the same exact campaign, it would cost you the same amount. You spend $100 on the Facebook ads themselves to this campaign. That's what we're talking about there.
Okay. Wow. And so then you provide the education and training for people to essentially set up their own chatbots.
Exactly.
So you're teaching them how to do the chatbots, and you're also teaching them how to do the Facebook ads that lead to the chatbot?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, that's good information. I've been trying to find someone to just take on the task for me.
Right.
Yes, as opposed to me learning how to do chatbots, because I don't necessarily think that I should be a chatbot expert.
Right.
Hold on one second. Yeah.
And I'm with you. I break it up a little bit.
Yep. Here, we're back now. Okay.
All right, cool. So yeah, one of the things that I've found is it's really important for me to double down on the things that I'm really passionate about. And I'm not nearly as passionate about the servicing as I am about finding these cool strategies and getting them out to people. But luckily, in doing this and putting out this training, there are a number of people who have gone through this training, agencies, people that do this as a service, that I'm more than happy to connect people to. It's not where I focus. I don't focus on the servicing. I focus on the training, but I have lots of people who are skilled and trained and know how to do this stuff as well. So, I'm always happy to connect people to people who can do the servicing if they're not looking to learn it themselves.
What's the number one mistake you see people making in creating a bot?
Yeah, so they wanted to do too much. So what I like to tell people is there's certain aspects of this that you can automate, but really the most important thing and the biggest value that these bots can give you is that they are generating a real conversation with a real person. And in real estate, I mean, that's gold, right? When you can actually talk to somebody, when you can really engage with a real person, that's where the real money is going to be found. And so you use the automation in order to ask, probing questions that get somebody talking, so that you can then take over as a human and talk to them and actually dive into their goals, dive into what they're looking for. And, in the long run, with enough money, with enough time, you could potentially replicate that conversation. But that's not, to me, where the opportunity is right now. The opportunity is get that conversation started and then have the conversation as a person, actually hop into Messenger, type out, and have, conversations with real people on the other end. And so the bots are essentially there just to get that started. They're there to get that conversation going so that you can then engage with them as a real, as a real estate professional.
And so it's now I'm visually thinking about this. And so the bot occurs on my business page, but I get to actually come in and see that whole conversation, right?
Yeah, and not only that, the way that I advise setting it up, the bot essentially has, maybe the first 2 or 3 messages, but then you just continue the conversation, and to the person it's seamless. They don't know specifically where the bot ends and the person begins. So right. if you set up the conversations correctly, then you're just having a conversation, right? If you set up the bots correctly, it just flows naturally into a conversation where you're chatting with somebody on your phone or on your computer, just engaging with them about whatever they're needing, whatever their real estate goals or dreams are, right?
Yeah, and I'm loving that, and the fact that you can just come in and they won't know the difference. Right. It's kind of like the conversation starter.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
That collected that initial information that you could use Zapier, a third-party tool, and have right. it take that contact information and add it to your customer relationship management system or your email marketing or whatever system you wanted to go to. Absolutely. So now you can have additional follow-up with that person. Oh, that's okay. So they wanted to do too much. What is one thing that a person should have prepared or in their mind before they even think about a bot? I'm hearing they need to have a Facebook business page.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
Ooh, do you know that is a regular conversation? Do I need to have a Facebook business page? Well, if you ever want to place an ad on Facebook and Instagram, yeah, you need to have one. But now if you want to have a bot, you need to have one. Okay, what else do they need?
Yeah, so the other thing, before going into making a bot, I like to advise people to silo the process. So don't think of it as building a bot that's going to do everything. Technically that's the way that it ends up being, but what you want to think of it as is, I want to start this specific kind of conversation. What does that flow look like? What does that process look like? So, I mentioned that coming soon, guess the price contest. Okay. That's a specific strategy. So you put up a post on Facebook that says coming soon, you can guess the price in the comments. And then your bot follows up with those people in a conversation and says, great, you participated in our contest. I just need to get a few more pieces of information for you to make sure that you're informed, right? And I'm actually not following my own script on this one. What I specifically recommend is that on the bots, that the way that they follow up is that they say, thank you so much for participating. We're going to follow up with the winner via, directly. Can I get your email in order to make sure that you don't, make sure that you're notified when or if you win. Also, we're going to call you. Can I get your phone number so I can call you if you win? And then from there, you can ask another question, something like, just so that you know, we actually get a lot more of these coming soon properties than we're able to post online. Would you like to be put on our list of people to be notified of all the coming soon properties we get? And there you go. What that does is that gives you the chance that essentially anybody who's asking for that, they're raising their hand, they're a buyer. So by asking that question, now you're further qualifying them. And then from there, if they say, yes, I want to be on that list, then you say, great. Is there anything in particular I should be looking for you? What number of beds, bathrooms, areas, price points? Is there anything that I should be looking for in particular in order to help you find that? And then great, if they answer that question, now they're even deeper qualified, right? Now you know that they're a buyer and you know what they're looking for, and you can continue that conversation to really help them. And so that's a very specific flow, right? That's a very specific process, but you know where it starts and you kind of know where it's heading. So that's how you want to approach this, is you want to take one concept and know how you're going to run it. And then separately, if you want to do something else, if you want to do like a home valuation, what does that look like? What does that process look like? They're going to request their home valuation. What does the conversation look like? So when you go into it, essentially think of these as the same way as you would separate landing pages. They're separate processes. They're separate things that you build out. They're separate conversations. And so you can get started at any entry point, but you have to know where that entry point leads to.
Can you run multiple bots at the same time to one page?
Yeah, so technically the way that it works, what I'm describing as separate processes, it's technically the same bot, right? Like it's technically the same software on the back end. It's more just thinking about it in this siloed process. So it's you know, if you're going to think of it as a bot like a robot, it's more like separate components in the same bot. But what most people think is they think somebody's going to come in and the bot is going to magically figure everything for me. And that's just not the reality of work. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense. One, because I didn't know, I get it. It's one big framework, right?
Right.
And they enter at a certain point, but then we have these individual processes. Is that kind of how it goes?
Exactly.
So it looks like a big old decision tree, but they're streamlined to fall into, I guess, a conversation track.
Kinda. So it actually doesn't look like a big decision tree. Really, it's step by step, right?
Okay.
They start with this post,
Oh.
then the next part of the conversation happens in the next part of the conversation. And separately, you may have a separate post that triggers a different conversation, right? And so when you think about it that way, it's a lot easier to make this work because you're not having to think if somebody clicks to message me on my page that I need to figure out if they're a buyer, if they're a seller, if they have some other complaint. Like you don't need to account for all this stuff because you're not trying to, right? That's hard to do well in a way that people actually want to engage with, to automatically sort and sift everybody out to figure it out. It's easier to just answer questions, right? To just come in and answer what's going on. But the bots can be used with this siloed approach where you simplify the process and just drive toward one very specific type of conversation at a time.
Now, I saw a bot. I was a part of a private Facebook group, and in that bot, on their page, if you typed in a certain word into whatever that post was, it was like a bot popped up. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
How does that even work? I can have a call to action to a post, and then the bot responds.
Yeah, so that's just done with software on the back end. I mean, it's part of how the bot software works. So the platform that I recommend is called ManyChat. They have a free level, they have a paid level, and that's many as in lots, not many as in, some people hear that as mini, like small, but it's many as in lots, not anyway. What was I going to say?
Many, yeah, I got you. As opposed to many, M-I-N-I, it is M-A-N-Y. I got it. Because I'm like, what do you mean? I got it now. Okay, ManyChat, yes.
Yes. Anyway, so they have a free level, they have a paid level. Even at their paid level, it's only $10 a month. So it's stupid cheap for what it does and how you can use it. And at their paid level, you get access to something that they call a comment growth tool. And lots of these different bot software. So ManyChat is just one of them. There's also one called Chat Fuel. There's one called I think there's one called like Chat Monkey or something like that. I forget exactly what it's called. Anyway, ManyChat's the one that I use. But they all have this comment growth tool concept, which is, yes, when somebody drops a comment on a post, then the bot is essentially looking for that. They're looking for the comments, and you could set it so that it engages with any comment, right? So it doesn't matter what they post, or you can have it be that they're looking for specific keywords. Like they have to post, I want this, or they have to post, bots are amazing before the bot will actually respond. So you could set it up to have some filtering. But yeah, and then simply you connect the bot to the post, and then it's looking for that and automatically starts following up.
And that's called a comment growth tool.
In ManyChat, yeah.
Okay, in ManyChat. And then you said Chat Fuel would be the second option, but ManyChat, M-A-N-Y, would be the number one option.
That's at least what I use. From what I've seen, Chat Fuel actually has some really great stuff too. A lot of the times, and this is more of a kind of a meta business discussion in terms of choosing software platforms. I find that a lot of people, real estate agents especially, get way too focused on if they're using exactly the right tool or not, and aren't focused nearly enough on just getting into action and doing what they need to do. If you're already using Chat Fuel, it's probably going to be fine for what you need. I happen to know many chats what I've gone with, but I wouldn't read too much more into it than that. They both seem like they're good platforms.
So what you I'm loving, you just basically said stop getting ready to get ready to use it. Pick a tool and use it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And when I'm thinking about Mark Zuckerberg, one thing he stated was that this year, 2019, is going to be the year of Messenger and stories. And so everything that you're talking about is inside of essentially that Messenger conversation, that we can collect information, export the information, and then even come back in and jump on the conversation once the conversation has been initiated. Are there any other phenomenal benefits to having a bot?
I mean, going back to it, the biggest thing that I think people miss is the ability to have more conversations, because people are so used to lead generation being, really focused on like cost per lead, right? How many leads are you generating per dollar? What's great with chatbots and messenger bots is that you can actually look at a different metric that is a lot more powerful, which is your cost per conversation. And generally, most of these strategies, most of the lead generation strategies, have to focus on cost per lead, because the number of leads you actually get in contact with and have a conversation with is, minor, right? Like, you have to generate a bunch of leads to have a handful of conversations. With chatbots, not only are you able to generate more leads, but more of those leads turn into conversations. And that's where the power is. You're connecting with people, real people, and doing it in a way that's just simple and seamless. And it's a whole lot easier to get somebody to pick up the phone when it's as a result of a direct conversation where you're finding out about what they're looking for, and you're helping them, and you're engaging with them on their goals. And you say, hey, really, for me to keep helping you, it's going to be best if we can hop on the phone to knock this out. Can I get your phone number so that I can give you a call? They're going to pick up the phone when you do that. Whereas when you're just calling and calling, you'll get people to pick up, but it's a lot harder, right? And so that to me is the biggest, the biggest thing that's so powerful about this is how many conversations that you can generate. The automation is great, but the conversations are really the powerful thing here.
What I love is, well, one, I never knew CPC cost per conversation, so that
Right.
is freaking awesome. When I think about conversion rates and looking at the world of real estate, they state that we have a 1 in 50 chance to convert people we've never met, a 1 in 6 chance to convert people we have met, but
Right.
that live streaming video puts you closer to the 6. But
Right.
then you still need to have this conversation. And if I'm
Right.
texting you and I ask you for your phone number and you give it to me, that means you
Right.
are anticipating and waiting for my phone call.
Absolutely.
So it takes the cold calling aspect out of it. And
Yep.
ManyChat, you said, is $10, and then they could do a $100 a month ad. So what I kind of visualize, if I'm thinking about a marketing strategy,
Right.
I would see that a realtor essentially would do a direct mail campaign to an area with a call to action that would
Right.
lead you to their business page. But I think they should also do a ad over the area they just sent the direct mail piece to, but that conversation would now take them to the bot, and then
Right.
you could hop on.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Yeah.
would be very cost effective.
Yeah.
And now you have additional information. Like when we're looking at the information that a lot of systems provide us, it's the name and mailing address. But
Right.
now we can come back in and gather email addresses, and we can get mobile numbers, right? You can capture the mobile number. Can you capture the mobile number through the bots?
Yeah, you can. So, I mean,
Okay.
you could capture anything that somebody can reply to a message with. So literally you can, if you wanted to, and if you needed to, you could capture what the name of their, aunt on their mother's side's middle name is, if you really wanted to. It's just, you have to ask the question.
I got you. Yeah, and you know what I was thinking about? I was thinking that everybody was communicating with the bot via the mobile device, and that's not true. You can utilize it on your laptop, your desktop. And
Absolutely.
so that's why the mobile number, some of the tools automatically capture it, but that's because
Right.
it's only via the mobile device. Ah,
Right.
well,
And,
you
and
know, hmm?
I mean, still with this, it's very likely that when people are engaging with this, they are likely on their phone. I mean, I forget what the percentage is. It's either 70 or 80%, I think, right now of traffic on Facebook is on the phone. So
Yes, it is.
chances are, if they're engaging with your message with your bot, they're probably on their phone. But yeah.
Ah, you have provided me with some wonderful tools. I still need, I'm going to need a referral to a referral for somebody to set this up for me, but I am going to look at the training because I know that you're providing me with a resource to share with my sphere of influence. So a couple
Absolutely.
of things that we've talked about is Facebook is still the #1 social platform, and that you can have a bot, but you must have a business page. So the first thing I need realtors to do is to set up a business page.
Right.
Start thinking about the conversation. Do not make the conversation too detailed, because we simply do what? Do too much. And
Right.
then instead of looking at return on investment and things of that nature, you said that we would be looking at cost per conversation, but that we've already collected
Right.
information that can auto-populate a customer relationship management system or email marketing by
Right.
using tools like Zapier. So I need my audience
Right.
to know how to connect with you and get all of your great resources, because I need them
Yeah.
to implement bots into their business.
Absolutely. So there's a couple of places where you can go. You can check us out online, realestategrowthhackers.com. That's our website. You can hop on there, look at the free information that we've put out, look at, sign up to our email list, get more good information that we send out via email. You can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, all over the place. Real Estate Growth Hackers. If you search for it, you should find us. And then, yeah, like you mentioned, I've got something actually for anybody listening, anybody who's checking this out. We put together a free welcome bot for real estate agents that includes not only the bot itself that you can install completely for free, but also a course on how to set it up and use it. Really, my thinking behind it. And you guys can get access to that if you go to realestategrowthhackers.com/go/markybots.
Ooh, I love the fact that you customized it for my audience. I truly appreciate that. So, you know what? Our time here today is over. I really wish I could just come sit up in your living room, because I still have a million and one questions. But basically, at the end of the day, we need you as realtors to stop getting ready to get ready. Don't worry
Right.
about the platform, just do it. And Zach has provided you with that information so that you can get started today, because your boy Mark Zuckerberg has stated that bots and stories, those are the content that we need to focus on 2019, and we do not want you to be left behind. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Talk to you soon.